The iPhone 14 Pro Max came out in September 2022 and is still the top dog. I prefer this iPhone 14 over the iPhone 15. And here's why. The iPhone 14's performance in 2024 is still really good. It has the A16 Bionic chip. It still runs really fast. Everything still works the way you think it would. You really wouldn't see any notable difference between the 14 and the 15. And if you're coming from a phone like an iPhone 11, iPhone 12, even the iPhone 13, you'll see a noticeable increase in performance. Whatever you put this phone through, it wouldn't matter. It's gonna handle it well. It's gonna still perform well. It's still gonna have its peak brightness. This phone gets it done. The iPhone 14 Pro has a Super Retina XDR display, or whatever Apple calls it. It's an OLED display with 120 hertz refresh rate. That's a really good phone. That's a really good display. You really can't beat that. The phones nowadays, they come standard with OLED, but an iPhone with OLED is the best thing you can have. A lot of people really can't tell the difference between 60 hertz and 120 hertz. But for those that do know what to look for and do know what they're looking at, you can really tell the difference. And that's a big factor when it comes to these phones and scrolling through TikTok and just going through your settings, looking at it. That's a really big factor nowadays. The camera on the iPhone 14 Pro Max is really, really good. I don't see a real difference between the 14 and the 15 cameras, but like I said before, if you're coming from the 10, 11, 12, even the 13, you can tell there's a big difference between the cameras. The battery life on the 14 Pro Max is impeccable. It never died on me once. No matter what I put it through, it never died on me. Now this 15, this battery dies on me all the time. I put it through the same thing I put it through on the 14, but it's just, it can't hang. I don't know if it's a software issue. I just don't know what it is, but it's not like it's dying an hour ahead of time or anything like that. It probably within like 30 minutes to 40 minutes of contrast between the 14 and the 15, but that's still a big thing. If the battery is dying a lot, that's still a big thing. With the 14, I drive trucks, so I always have the navigation on, and I have it on the whole time I'm driving, so about 12 hours a day. And when I'm done with the day, the battery's still at about 30 to 25%, which is very good. With the 15, when I'm driving, at the end of the day, at 9 or 10 hours, the battery is hanging on around like 5-10%, which is not that good. They both get the job done, but sometimes you just want that little extra battery. With the 14 Pro Max, you still get the good software updates. Apple does 7 years of software updates. So this phone came out in 2022. So you'll still get software updates till 2029. And you really can't beat that. This phone still offers you good performance, good build quality, good camera quality, good display, good battery life, and extensive software support. And if you still wanted to get this phone in 2024, on back market, you can get around the high 600s or the low 700s, which I think is still a good price in 2024 for a high-end phone like this. And this is the Pro Max model. If you want to just go for the Pro, which I would still recommend, you can get it for even cheaper compared to its $1,100 counterpart that does the exact same thing. The only downside about this phone is that it still supports Lightning. If you want USB-C, you would have to upgrade to the iPhone 15 and up, but this phone is still really good despite not having a USB-C port. The iPhone 14 Pro Max remains a highly capable and relevant smartphone in 2024. For users looking for a reliable, powerful, and premium smartphone experience, the iPhone 14 Max is still a strong choice. This thing is still the best. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you found this video interesting, go ahead and give it a like down below. And if you found it really interesting, go ahead and give it a subscribe down below. I appreciate y'all. If y'all are interested in technology, music, entertainment news, anything like that, I do have a podcast. It's called The Unimportant Podcast with Malik. I'll link it down below. And I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Peace.